Shalom. I'm Eddie Chumney of Hebraic Heritage Ministries, and we welcome you to this week's Focus Israel Report. In this week's report, we're going to be sharing with you regarding the current status of the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, and it is as follows. In January, during his State of the Union address, U.S. President Barack Obama solemnly proclaimed Israel as a Jewish state. In pushing for an Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement, the president said his objective was an independent state for Palestinians and lasting peace and security for the state of Israel. A Jewish state that knows that America will always be at their side. However, in his meeting on March 17th with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas, the president conspicuously omitted any reference to Israel as a Jewish state. In one swoop, he erased Jewish identity from Israel, the very basis and rationale for Israel as a Jewish national homeland. Here's how he puts it now when calling for two states side by side in peace and security, a state that allows for the dignity and sovereignty of the Palestinian people, and a state that allows for Israelis to feel secure and at peace with their neighbors. Israel's Jewishness is now gone from the equation. Despite Palestinian Authority's ongoing rejection of Israeli demands to be recognized as a state of the Jewish people, Israel Justice Minister Tzipi Livni has not given up on her hope that the framework agreement being drawn up by U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry will be implemented. She said, "Those who say that there will be no agreement in our generation has given up on the idea of peace. A responsible leadership cannot surrender on the basic interests of the State of Israel, which are meant to defend Zionism and on the Jewish and democratic state," added Livni. Insisting on recognition of Israel as a Jewish state, she said, would prevent Israel from turning into a bi-national state. However, getting the Palestinians to agree will be very difficult, she said. The Palestinians said that they will be willing to consider resolving the issue of recognizing Israel as a Jewish state when peace talks come to an end and a meaningful solution to the conflict is achieved. Palestinian official Nabil Shah said, "If this issue would have appeared after the central issues would have been solved, and if we would receive the correct answers to practical questions, the issue could be resolved," he said. Hours later, Sha'ath denied that he made these comments, saying that the Palestinians' position is that no discussions be held on the issue of recognition of Israel, as doing so means legitimizing the theft of Palestine and endangers the status of the so-called Palestinian refugees, meaning the millions of descendants of Arabs who fled pre-state Israel, whom the Palestinians demand be given the right to return to Israel, which could make it a majority Arab state. When U.S. President Barack Obama met with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas on March 17th, the U.S. said that no formal proposal had been made to Abbas in their meetings, according to a senior State Department official. At the meetings, the Palestinians presented Obama with a map depicting Israeli settlement construction throughout the West Bank. Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat said that the meetings were difficult yet candid. Erekat added, "Contrary to what people expected, that we will come out of this meeting with an official American proposal document, this has not happened," he said. "To submit an official document, we need more discussion," Erekat said. Abbas rejected terms within the U.S. framework document for continued peace talks with Israel and issued 3 no's on core issues, leaving the negotiations headed for an explosive collapse, an Israeli TV report said. Specifically, the report said that Abbas rejected Netanyahu's demand that he recognize Israel as a Jewish state. He also refused to abandon the Palestinian demand for a right of return for millions of Palestinians and their descendants, a demand that, if implemented, would drastically alter Israel's demographic balance, in which no conceivable Israeli government would accept. And finally, he refused to commit to an end of conflict, under which a peace deal would represent the termination of any further Palestinian demands of Israel. As a result, four left-wing Palestinian factions have called on Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas to declare the failure of peace talks with Israel. They were the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the Democratic Front to Liberate Palestine, the People's Party, and the Palestinian National Initiative Party. They wrote in a letter accepting U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry's plan to sign the framework peace deal is like committing suicide, and this plan has many dangerous consequences on the Palestinian cause and our people's legitimate rights, the letter said. In analysis, Israel Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon said that he does not view Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas as a partner for peace, noting that he does not believe peace will happen in his generation. I've discovered this conflict is about the entire Palestine. They don't recognize the Jewish right to live here. It is impossible to make an agreement without there being recognition on the other side of our right to exist as the national homeland of the Jewish people, he said. Mahmoud Abbas is a partner that receives, but not a partner that gives. He's not a partner for a final accord that ends with the recognition of the State of Israel, Ya'alon said. He also said that he is not sure if U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry was a fair mediator. We'll see at the end of the process, he said. Ya'alon said he completely disagreed with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry's recent statement that it is a mistake to focus on the demand to recognize Israel as a Jewish state. I supported Oslo in 1993, and I thought that if we gave up land, it would bring us tranquility. But when I discovered that the conflict is not over land, and the land is not only the West Bank, it's actually all of Palestine, as they call it, the whole land of Israel, I became more realistic in my viewpoint of things. Meanwhile, the Obama administration is very concerned that the Israeli-Palestinian peace talks could collapse soon and is working to find a solution that would allow the talks to continue beyond the April 29th deadline. As a result, Kerry is trying to convince Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to agree to continue the talks and move forward with the upcoming release of the fourth batch of long-serving Palestinian terrorists being held in Israeli jails. Israel has threatened to halt the release of the prisoners, which includes Israeli citizens serving time on terror charges, unless Palestinian Authority head Mahmoud Abbas agrees to an extension of the talks. Abbas, in turn, has demanded that the prisoner release go through without any commitment on his part and threatened to end the negotiations. U.S. Special Envoy Martin Indyk and U.S. Ambassador to Israel Dan Shapiro have met with both the Israelis and the Palestinians to find ways on how to continue the peace talks. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Palestinians are refusing to budge on the issue of recognizing Israel as a Jewish state and forfeiting the right of return. It was impossible to say that there was progress right now in the diplomatic process, but we are continuing to work with the Americans, he said. As the clock winds down on U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry's window to secure a peace deal between the Palestinians and Israelis, some Palestinian officials are suggesting that greater involvement by the international community is the key to the success or failure of the Kerry mission. It is really a decision of the international community that has not done enough to see a breakthrough to the Palestinian question and to give Palestinians their basic rights, Palestinian Minister of Foreign Affairs Riyad al-Maliki said. The U.S. administration should really realize that any kind of pressure put on the Palestinian president is not going to work, he said. Al-Maliki also argued that the international community, which he defined as including the nations of the world except the United States, needs to engage itself more in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And if they do not, the Palestinians will be pestering them to do so. As long as there is no understanding, comprehension, and cooperation from the international community to support our goals, we will continue to make our voice loud in demanding greater European participation in the peace process. Israel Deputy Defense Minister Danny Danon threatened to oust Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as head of the Likud political party if he makes too many concessions to the Palestinians in the current round of peace talks. This framework would mean the abandonment of the Jordan Valley, a return to the 1967 lines, and the division of Jerusalem, Danon stated. The Likud is a democratic faction and there will be a race for the leadership when we get to that point. However, as someone who knows the hearts of Likud members, we will not support a framework that brings us in line with the positions of Justice Minister Tzipi Livni. Speaking last week, Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat said that he was pressuring Palestinian Chairman Mahmoud Abbas to leave the ongoing negotiation process with Israel. Erekat stressed that Abbas could leave the negotiating table, but that he is waiting for Israel to release more Palestinian Arab terrorists first. We put pressure on him to leave, and he said, "I will not do that until Israel finishes releasing prisoners for the fourth time at the end of March," Erekat stated. Danon said that Israel should not fall into Abbas's trap. The government needs to reconsider its position on the release of terrorists, Danon said. Right now, it is clear that the negotiations are not going anywhere. If Deputy Defense Minister Danny Danon does not follow through with his threat and resign, he will be fired, sources close to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that he has agreed to extend peace talks with Israel past April the 29th if certain conditions are met, which includes freezing Israel's settlement construction and releasing more Palestinian terrorists. Israel told Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas that it might not carry out a final stage of a Palestinian prisoner release unless he commits to prolonging peace talks beyond a U.S. set April 29th deadline for a deal. There was never any automatic commitment to release terrorists unrelated to making progress in negotiations, Israel chief negotiator Tzipi Livni said. An Israeli official said that Israel wanted assurances that Abbas wouldn't walk out of the talks once the prisoners were set free. "We need to be sure that negotiations will last beyond the release of prisoners and that they will be substantive and on solid ground," the official said. Meanwhile, the U.S. promised the Palestinians that they would pressure Israel to release the last of the 26 long-term Palestinian terrorists. They are scheduled to be released at the end of March. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has asked the U.S. to mediate the release of Marwan Barghouti, a Palestinian leader jailed around a decade ago because of a series of suicide bombings. Israel would be committing political blackmail if it were to delay the final phase of the Palestinian security prisoner release, a Palestinian official said. "We are awaiting the release of the fourth batch of prisoners as agreed upon with the Israelis through the United States. We are saying that if they are not released, this is a violation of the agreement and allows us to act however we see fit within the norms of international agreements. If Israel does not release the fourth batch of Palestinian terrorists in Israeli jails, the Palestinians have threatened to seek full recognition as a member state of the United Nations, as Palestinian official Nabil Sha'ath said that the Palestinians have already stated that if the prisoner release is called off, the Palestinians will immediately turn to the United Nations." Israel Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon issued a harsh criticism of the Obama administration, declaring that Israel cannot rely on the U.S. to stop Iran's nuclear program, accusing the administration of broadcasting weakness throughout the world and warning that its perceived weakness was inviting further terrorism against U.S. targets. Israel had believed that the one who should lead the campaign against Iran is the United States, but instead, the U.S. at a certain point in time began negotiating with Iran, and unfortunately, the Iranians have done a better job of negotiating, he said. Therefore, the Israelis have to look out for our own interests. Ya'alon was adamant that Iran is fooling the world about its nuclear program, but said that the West preferred to put off any confrontation to next year or the next term, but it will blow up in the end, he said. The Iranians had been on all fours because of economic sanctions against them and diplomatic isolation, but had been allowed to recover, he said. The interim deal signed in Geneva, Switzerland in November is very good for the Palestinians, he said, enabling them to establish themselves as a nuclear threshold state and break out the bomb when they choose to do so. Ya'alon also stressed several times that the U.S. was radiating weakness in every region worldwide. The Sunni Muslim camp in the Middle East expected that the U.S. would support it and would be as determined as Russia is in the support of Shiite Muslims, Ya'alon said. Well, that's going to conclude this week's update where we shared with you regarding the current status of the Israeli-Palestinian peace talks. Until we do it again, Shalom in Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.